Hi guys, we're back again.
Greetings.
We're doing a double feature, kinda, sort of. We just finished a review of The Taken 3, and now we're immediately just doing this one, so that's why I'm still wearing the same shirt.
And that's why I'm still in my same ensemble as well.
Yes, so, because clearly we're going for high production quality in these videos. So, you know what,
Yes.
Sarah here has been one of the most loyal people I've had for the past couple years, and you know what, she didn't get to see quite as many good movies as we did last year, so didn't she get to be part of the best videos list, but I was like, you know what, I still want to give you something, and I realized you've pretty much seen almost every comic-based movie that came out last year, so I was like, you know what?
Most of them.
Yeah, most of them, except for a couple that I'll talk about, but you know what? Let's rank the comic book movies we saw last year, because I can't think of any people that do that, and it's worth talking about. So here we are. We're here to rank the comic book-based movies from 2014 in order from worst to best.
Yes.
And we do mean worst. So,
yes.
Like, we originally made our own lists, but our lists are exactly the same, except for, like, a couple other ones that I saw that she didn't see. The one that's not going to be on this video is Snowpiercer, and that's already because I've talked about it to death, so I'm not going to say, I really don't have anything more to add than what I've already said.
And I still need to see it anyway.
Yeah, so, if you watch the top best movies of 2014, you've already heard me talk about it, and a couple of these ones too, but I'll talk about them again anyway, because fuck it, I'll do whatever I want. So, let's get started with, for me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we got 7 movies on this list. Number 7 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Which, since I only saw 5, comes in at my number 5, but it's based...
Yeah, like I said, our list is exactly the same,
yeah,
so we're just going to combine it into one.
It's our lowest ranking comic book movie, and as I mentioned before you turn the camera back on, it's the one movie that I saw last year that made me angry.
No, this movie sucked. I mean,
it was awful.
Calling this a comic book based movie is kind of cheating because it's not, as far as I know, this isn't based on a direct source material from the comic books.
No, but the characters, the idea originally came from comics.
Yeah, so I'm counting it. So you don't like that, you could suck it. Just kind of like how I felt of this movie kind of said that to the audience too.
It did, and I remember when we did the review, Muha said that it doesn't even have the fun of a typical Michael Bay film, but it has his fingerprints all over it. He technically produced it, he didn't direct it.
Yeah.
So it's not even as fun as his other bad movies.
Fun.
Quote unquote.
Fun. You just gotta use fun Michael Bay sparingly. But
yes, but...
No, this movie just so terrible. I mean, I only found out about this later that there were a lot of reshoots because everyone freaked out when the Shredder thing happened. Because, like, what, Shredder is this business guy? Why isn't he the original Japanese guy? And then they all freaked out, rapidly cast some Japanese guy, and then refilmed a bunch of shit.
And I don't even remember seeing the Japanese guy's face.
No, you don't.
And the armor he wears, it looks more like a Transformer than it does the Shredder. It's, oh my God. Like I said, it made me angry.
Like, I'm not a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan. I didn't grow up on them.
I did.
Yeah, so you have much reason to be angry than I did. It's kind of like Star Trek 2 all over again. Except to a much greater degree, I would argue.
Yes, because, let's see, when dating myself a little bit, when I started watching the original cartoon, I was maybe about 7. So... it holds a special place in my heart.
For me, it's like, I was just kind of hoping to be, like, not bad, maybe, like, be self-aware enough to be entertaining, but it went by so fucking fast.
It
just did not, there was nothing good about it. It really wasn't.
And, they dumbed down the character of April O'Neil, and the designs on the turtles themselves looked more like monsters than mutants.
Like, the design never really, like, I mean, how do you define either or on that one?
They were too muscular and too, I don't know, it just something about the designs made them seem more scary than teenager.
Like, I don't know, like, the designs never really bothered me as much as it did a lot of people. If it does, I totally get why. It's never really bothered me all that much. It was more just how the characters were presented. Even then, I thought that was probably the best part of the film, was how the turtles interacted with each other. But other than
even that could have been better. It's better in the cartoon.
Of course it is, but it's like it's one of those things. There's always the very valid point that everyone always brings up when they talk about this movie, which was, back in the old days, it wasn't much better when you really look at it. I mean, you did have the random rap number by Eminem in there.
Wait.
Was it Eminem? Not Eminem. Vanilla Ice.
Yes. Early 90s was Vanilla Ice. Eminem.
Not Eminem. Yeah, sorry. I don't know why I said Eminem, but I think I was thinking treat. Eminem is a treat, but so is vanilla. So...
Eminem stands for his initials, right?
I'm aware. It's like calling me Eminem. What you don't think when you say Eminem, what's the first thing you think of? Candy. So like Eminem is delicious candy.
Well, M&Ms are delicious candy because it has.
Well, it depends how you feel about his music too. Delicious can mean a lot of different things. But either way, it's like even by that criticism though, that standard though, this is still really bad.
It is.
So I don't know. Maybe like I heard a lot of kids liked it fine. So I don't know. Maybe it's that. But I know the show they got going now is actually pretty decent. I've watched a couple episodes. Like, hey, this actually isn't half bad. But
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard good things because the main compliment that I've heard about the current show is that they actually portray them like they are teenagers.
Yeah. So,
what a concept!
Alright, so moving right along, we gotta do this fast.
Yes.
So then we have, this one I saw, you didn't see this. 300, Rise of an Empire, or I like to call it 301 Spartans. Except the Spartans are barely in this movie, oddly enough.
Well, most of them died in the first one. How did they continue it? And why?
Well, the why is another matter, but the how was actually based on like what actually happened in the middle of the Persian Wars. It was about the people. I think it was some other Greek army that was led by. It was like it was a more navy battle thing.
Okay.
Like they're trying to protect the bay from being overrun by the Xerxes' second in command, played by Eva Green, who is the single best part about this movie. I will give it that much. This was not a good movie. I wouldn't call it even calling it good's kind of pushing it. But Eva Green, every time she was on screen, was amazing to watch. Not because it was like a groundbreaking performance, but because she knew exactly kind of jackass action movie she was in, and she chewed the scenery like it was no one's business. And she easily became the most entertaining part of the movie. Eros is playing it straight face. She is playing it so diabolically evil. And for some reason, she's just such a good actress. It totally fucking works.
Impressive.
Like, it's not even it's a bad performance, so it makes it funny. It's like, it's a legitimately good over-the-top performance of this over-the-top character.
That's hard to do.
Oh, I know, and she does it so fucking well. But it's also like the most strangely aggressive sex scene I've ever seen in a cinema in recent memory.
Well, that may be challenged when 50 Shades comes out later this year.
No. Let me explain what happens here. Because, she appreciates the commander who's the main hero in this one, who's not nearly as interesting as Leonidas, for starters.
Not.
Of course not. Because that's Gerald Butler at his best.
Yes.
When he's shouting to people. But anyway, and then she invites him onto her boat to kind of negotiate a truce or something like that. So she brings him on the ship, and they talk for a little bit, and then they just start fucking. But not like just passion, like they're throwing each other against walls. They're just beating the crap out of each other while boning each other at the same time. I was like, this is really aggressive, but it's also kind of hot. I don't know. Depends what you're into. But I guess I read an interview later that she actually got a few bruises from that scene. And this isn't like a barely, like, they're showing tits and everything. So it's like, wow, okay, they're going all out for this thing. Which is odd because Evergreen, I have to talk about Evergreen again in the next one on the list. But no, she made this movie entertaining. She made this movie fun to watch. The movie really suffered whenever she was not on screen. So that I will give total props. The rest of the movie is exactly what you expect it to be, except not as good as 300. So it's like trying to match the style, but it just doesn't work as well because it clearly doesn't have Zack Snyder directing it. Mm-hmm. So it's like trying to mimic his style, but doesn't quite know how to do it. So it just comes off feeling like, but no, Eva Green totally made this movie.
Okay, I can understand why it's not at the bottom entirely then.
Yeah, so like Eva Green again. See, I'm calling her by her right name this time. How many times I confused with Eva Mendes last time we talked about her?
Yeah.
Then we got Sin City 2. What was it called?
A Dame to
Kill For, which was also a story involving Eva Green, who was also fantastic in that one too.
She was. This is one that I saw with you, and I wanted to see it because I saw the first Sin City movie.
Yeah, I like the first Sin City movie.
Me too.
Yeah.
I love the noir style. I loved the atmosphere. The first one had a good cast, and some of the cast members come back for this one. At least the ones that are still alive, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, even the ones that aren't alive still come back in a way that's kind of head-scratching. Like, the Marv thing was really confusing.
It was, yes.
It felt like they just brought him back just because they wanted Mickey Rourke to come back.
Probably.
I mean, this is a movie that probably would have done fine if it was released a few years earlier, but it's like a lot of the stuff that's here is kind of dated. And a lot of the news stories introduced for that Frank Miller wrote are the easy ones to spot because they're the ones that suck. That's really what it kind of comes down to, though. It's just like Frank Miller has not written a good story in like over a decade. And it's really, really obvious when he ever writes new shit because he doesn't know how to write characters anymore. Yeah. Maybe he had it once, then he's lost it somewhere down the line. He hasn't gotten it back.
Yeah, the characters are more caricatures. In the Sin City sequel,
except for the story involving Eva Green and Josh Brolin and all those guys. That was a lot of fun.
That was fun, and it was compelling, and it was over the top cheesy, but in an entertaining, fun way.
Yeah, I mean that's like. It's she kind of the same thing here she did in 302 Dalmatians, where where she's kind of playing over the top, but she knows how to balance over the top well.
She does,
with like a legitimately good performance. She knows how to do over the top, but still keep it entertaining and not chewing all the scenery for sake of chewing all the scenery. She still is chewing a lot of fucking scenery, but
there's a purpose to it.
Yeah, so like her character fucking works in this one. Even Josh Brolin, I've earned a lot of respect for this year, like last year, and even recently. We saw Inherent Vice yesterday, and that Josh Brolin's easily the best part of that one too. Okay,
cool. And they were both very charismatic in Sin City too. So.
Yeah, and there's still like shit like when Josh Brolin's character has like facial reconstruction surgery, but he looks exactly the same with longer hair. Like,
yes.
It's like, your disguise is clever. No, it's not. He just grew out his bangs. That's it. But so shit like that. It's not a great comic book movie, but there are some stories are fun.
I'd say it's an entertaining watch to. At least see it once, maybe red box it.
I mean, this is one of those things where, like, I would wait for, like, I would just watch it just for the A Dame to Kill For story. Like, the George McGord-Levitt story just goes nowhere.
Although, I did like the scene where he goes in the diner and the waitress working there says something to the effect of, you remind me of an ex-boyfriend and you don't smell like anything that I don't like. Here's a quarter.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So I did like that part of his story. It still has good atmosphere. It still has a noir look and feel to it. Is it as good as the first Sin City? No, but it was still entertaining.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. And then we have number 4. Wait, no. Yes, number 4. Okay. Number 4, Amazing Spider-Man 2. I feel like this one gets a bit of an unfair rep. Because a lot of people's like, oh, it's such a bad movie, and it's like, this is like as bad as Spider-Man 3. No, it's not.
I enjoyed it. I genuinely did. Yes, it is overloaded with content. I will grant you, which is why it's in the middle here. And yes, it does have some pacing issues, but I liked the action. I liked the performances. I liked the characters.
Like, I think a lot of it comes down to is, like, yeah, they try to cram too much, and as a result, a lot of it felt underdeveloped. A lot of it felt like set up to other movies they wanted to release, like the Sinister Six movie they're coming out with, and maybe, like, a lot of it felt like set up for other movies, and I think that's kind of where it's really kind of distracting at times.
It did. I really liked the scenes between Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone.
Oh yeah, I mean that's easily the best parts. Everyone's kind of unanimous on that one. Like that was easily the best part of the movie.
Yes.
And it probably should have just been a romance story between Daniel Garfield and Emma Stone because they have great chemistry together.
They do.
Even if some of the stuff that Peter Parker does in this movie is kind of creepy. Like, were you following me? Yeah, I was like, that's supposed to be charming because that's kind of creepy. So that. And like, they're focusing way too much on the parent story, and then you got that with the Green Goblin story, and then the Electro story, and then the Rhino was thrown there in their last minute.
Just kind of shoehorned in.
Yeah, which I was fine with. I always kind of expected they throw one and two throwaway villains in there at some point. So that didn't really bug me as much as did a lot of people. I was more like, what did you expect? But in some ways, you can tell they clearly wanted to have just Electro as the villain.
Yes.
But then the producers came in and said, oh, no, we gotta have all these other things in there because we have a whole bunch of other movies we want to make out of this. So you have, like, Felicia Hardy's in there for some reason. They have Harry Osborn's in there. And then you got Norman Osborn, who's there for 5 minutes. And just all this stuff there that you can tell is just set up for other things. That being said, though, like, there are stuff to enjoy here. Like I said, I do think Andrew Garfield's so great in the Peter Parker role.
He is.
I do think he's better than Tobey Maguire, although some people disagree on that one.
I agree. He's not... How do I put this? He's charismatic. He is awkwardly nerdy without looking like a bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
And you can tell that even when he doesn't have much dialogue in scenes, you can tell that he is still in the part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can tell he's really passionate about it. And I can tell, like, if the whole Marvel Spider-Man deal does end up going through, I don't know if you heard about that.
I haven't.
There's been a lot of rumors going around that Marvel and Sony have been talking about integrating Spider-Man to the actual Marvel universe.
Ooh.
So far hasn't gone anywhere, but the rumors are still swirling around. If that does actually happen, I hope they bring Garfield back, because there's a lot of rumors that they prefer Tobey Maguire, which I think would be a mistake.
I'm sorry, no.
I mean, I like Tobey Maguire fine. He did the part that he was written for well.
He did, and I liked the first two original Spider-Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
I never got around to seeing Spider-Man 3. I heard nothing but bad things about it.
That one I think also gets a bad rep, but yeah, it's also not a good movie either.
But I am of the mindset that Amazing Spider-Man 2 is better than Spider-Man 3.
Well, yeah, I think most people... I don't know. Some people are really cynical about it. Well, some people just want to go, dude, calm down. It wasn't that bad.
No, I thought it was actually good. Was it great? No, but it was good.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about that one.
Yes.
So, number 3, X-Men Days of Future Past. This one, unfortunately, you did not get to see, but...
I haven't gotten around to it yet.
No, this one is easily the best X-Men movie to date so far. At least I think so. A lot of people agree that...
I'm a little bit behind. The last X-Men movie I saw was X3.
So. Well, I can't blame you for stopping after that.
Yes.
But,
I mean, why waste the Phoenix plot? But anyway.
That's a hope. Because Brett Ratner and producers, that's why. But, anywho. So... Yeah, this one's actually, like, really fucking good. I mean, it's Bryan Singer back in the director chair. You can like, feel it right away that this is a Bryan Singer X-Men movie. And, like, it combines the X-Men First Class and the original X-Men cast pretty damn well.
Impressive.
And it's, like, the performances of the, like, Xavier, for example, is getting much more backstory in this one. He is pretty much the star of this movie, not Wolverine, as much as the trailers would tell you otherwise.
Oh, nice. I always liked... Professor X in the 90s Saturday morning X-Men cartoon. I always wanted to know more about him.
This one makes him a much more interesting than he has been in the other X-Men movies. I mean, I'm not going to talk this movie too much because I've already talked about it a lot in the top 10 video. So, but yeah, this one was pretty much all about Xavier and Mystique, and it really works.
Sweet.
So yeah, I really enjoy this one. Of course, Michael Fassbender's Magneto is fantastic. He's a lot of fun. It works really well with Ian McKellen's Magneto too. Like they're very different, but they're complementary. It works for some reason.
That's very lucky that two different acting styles can playing the same character can gel like that.
Yeah, and of course you have Jennifer Lawrence, who's Jennifer Lawrence. She's gonna do a great job.
Yes.
And again, she's given a lot to do here. I even still think Boulevard Trask, who's the villain in this one, is still a pretty interesting villain too. Although I get why people didn't really go on board with him, because there are parts of him that are kind of bland, but I thought his motivation for what he was doing was interesting. So there's that. Shit. So I play with my keys a lot. I don't know if you guys hear that when I'm doing backstage, but I have this little Spider-Man keychain on my keys and I like to play with because I'm like a little kid when it comes to Legos. But anyway, but yeah, I mean everything else I've said in the other videos, so this is just a really good fucking movie. So next one, I think that's the last one that you have not seen. So.
Correct.
So number 2. Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah.
Yep.
This is one of those movies that I was really worried about when I heard it was coming out, because first off, I called it. I don't know how I called it. I kind of almost accidentally.
Because you are the comic book guy.
I am the comic book guy, but no, like, as soon as I saw Thanos in the Avengers, I was like, okay, where's my Guardians of the Galaxy movie? Like, 2 years later, we get Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, shit. Okay, cool. But this is a movie, like, everyone that I know who knows who the Guardians are and who knows anything about these characters were like, I'm really worried about this, because, like, this is something nobody knows about. Before this movie came out,
I didn't.
Like, who the fuck knew who the hell Groot was that does not read comic books before this movie came out? Now everyone knows who the hell he is.
Yes.
So, like,
we are all Groot.
Because it's such an off-kilter concept of, like, this series has a talking raccoon in a tree that only says 3 words. How are they gonna pull this off? And
I loved this movie. I think it was the only movie that I saw twice last year.
For me, I was worried about Rocket Raccoon, because, like, how are they gonna make a talking raccoon make it look not stupid? And surprisingly, they pull it off. It's like some of the best CGI I've seen in a while.
They make him look like one of the smartest characters there.
Yeah, so, like, for some reason, I don't know how he pulled it off, but it works.
It really does.
It works, and it's still silly. It's kind of stupid, but it still works.
It works. It's entertaining. It's hilarious. It moves along at a good pace.
Yeah, it helps that, like, it moves at a very fast pace. Like, that's kind of one little nitpick about it, though. It moves maybe a little too fast, but
fair enough. But it held my attention.
No, like I said, it still works. Like all the elements here, the stuff that should not work still works. So, like, it's just fun. It comes down to it's really fun.
Definitely.
Actually. Some people say it's like the best Marvel movie out there. I would disagree.
That's coming up after we.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of
talking about Guardians.
I mean, like I said, if you think this is the best Marvel movie out there, I wouldn't fault you the decision. It's definitely one of the best. It's really lucky, is what it is.
Yes, it's very fortunate that so many people saw it, whether they were comic book fans or movie fans. It is very lucky that it did well.
Especially since it's, again, this movie that nobody fucking knew about, like, characters that nobody's ever heard of. And the fact, again, that it did so well, I think it just goes to show that people want newer ideas or newer IPs, and just we're tired of just saying rehash shit over and over again. Yeah. So fuck it, here's a raccoon with a machine gun. Haven't seen that before, sure.
No. And
unless the next Over the Hedge sequel gets really dark.
And in case you couldn't tell by my my singing, the soundtrack is awesome.
Oh yeah. This movie just has its own feel. It has this very unique feel than the other Marvel movies. A lot of that has to do with the director.
And again, as indicated by the soundtrack, or the soundtrack choices, excuse me, it has a very 70s feel.
Yeah.
Like, good movies from the 70s.
Yeah. I don't even remember, like, what are bad movies from the 70s? I don't even remember.
That was a little bit before my time, so it's escaping my pop culture memory right now.
Fair enough. So yeah, I think we move on to number 1 then. Number 1.
Drum roll.
Captain America, the Winter
Soldier.
Yeah.
This was awesome.
This was a great movie. Yep.
It is not just a comic book movie. It is an espionage spy thriller, and it is amazing.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. No, like, this is a movie, like, it did the very smart, it's a game changer, and I really like that about the movie, is the fact that it was a Marvel movie, but it deliberately changed everything about the Marvel Universe.
It did.
Aside from, Guardians of the Galaxy and shit like that.
Yes.
But, like, it changed the game up, and it did in a way that worked very well. It was like, this is the most serious Marvel movie I've seen, at least from Marvel Studios.
Easily. It's a comic book movie, but a mature comic book movie. Like I said, it's not just a comic book movie. It's a spy action movie. So if you liked the Bourne movies, you would like this. If you like Captain America, you would like this. If you like fun, fast-paced action flicks or conspiracy flicks, you will like this.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's very much the idea to jump genres, basically, from the first movie to the second one was very smart.
Yes.
And the fact that it took itself more seriously, again, was a smart decision, because Captain America is kind of the character you can do that with, because he has been in so many different fields and so many different ideas that you can play around with that, and the directors very much do that. Because, like, the first one was the first Captain America was very much a B movie. Like, it was intentionally designed to be a cheesy World War II movie. Because you had,
it was a fun introduction, though.
It was a fun introduction. I'm not saying it was a bad movie. I like Captain America 1, but it was a B movie. It was intentionally made cheesy, because that was the only way you can tell that story, really. Because he's fighting Nazis, one of which has a red face. You cannot do that and take it all that seriously.
True enough.
Who calls himself the Red Skull, for God's sake. So, again, you can't take that all too seriously. So...
when we did the original review of it, you informed me that for Marvel fans and people who know the comics, this one is jam-packed with villains.
Oh yeah, this one has, like, of course, Robert Redford as what the hell was the character's name? Alexander Payne. That was
yes.
It. Or not the director. It was Alexander Pierce.
Yes,
that was
yes.
it. Payne is a director. Is that? And you have Winter Soldier, of course, who is fantastic because he's really fucking scary.
He is. It's very scary and compelling, and a real game changer of when Captain America meets his match.
Yeah, and there's also got Baron Zemo. No, not Zemo. What the fuck was that guy's name? The computer dude.
The doctor.
Zoloff. That was his name, Zoloff.
Yes.
Zoloff, the living computer. Yes, who's in the comic books also has a robotic body, which he rides around. So I don't know if they'll do that in the next one. Maybe.
They might.
They're doing the Civil War in the next Captain America movie, so I'll be curious what they're going with that. Do you know anything about the Marvel Civil War?
No.
It's basically where Captain America and Iron Man go to war with each other, basically.
Well, I can see that happening because Stark and Rogers do butt heads easily.
Yeah, it's a very controversial story because they kind of made Iron Man out to look like a horrible person. But in the comics, I'm probably not going to do it in the movie. Hopefully not, but...
We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, this was easily just the most entertaining. It was it's like the most tense comic book movie we've seen this year.
Yes.
That's probably the best characters, arguably. I mean, if you prefer the characters in Guardians of the Galaxy, I understand why. But for me, these did more. Gave Chris Evans a lot more to do in terms of storytelling, acting, and action, all that stuff.
He expresses more of a range and more reactions in this one. Because you see him trying to adjust to his 21st century life and trying to acclimate and catch up. You see him working for S.H.I.E.L.D. You see him flirting with Agent 13.
Yeah, Sharon.
Yeah. I still think it's a little incestuous that she's the
daughter of...
yeah.
Well, technically, they never did it in the original movie, so...
True.
Not too incestuous.
True, but he has a type, and it's in the same gene pool.
I'm not touching that.
you see him do so much. You see him realize that he's going up against his best friend. Spoiler, sorry, but you've probably already watched our review of it if you're watching this.
Well, I mean, like, it is political, and that addresses the current theme of freedom versus security. I mean, it's Captain America, so you can guess which side he takes on the matter, but that's still the central debate.
And the Falcon is awesome.
The Falcon is awesome.
I hope that he comes back.
I'm sure he will. They'll probably bring him back. Probably in Captain America 3. You got that, and of course, even Scarlett Johansson's given a lot to do here, too.
Yes.
Her character's a lot more fleshed out, too, which I liked.
Yeah, you go more into to her background, and you actually see her and Chris Evans kiss when they're trying to hide in plain sight. And there's even a callback line. Was that your first kiss since you woke up? So.
I'm saying if I was kissing Scarlett Johansson, I'd be nervous too.
Fair enough.
So really, I feel you, brother.
There's action, there's humor, there's character and plot development, there's a story arc. It is not just a comic book film, it is a great movie.
Just on a side note, we also don't waste our time with the romance either. That's also a nice change of pace from all movies.
I agree.
I mean, Guardians did that too, but you can still tell they were kind of hinting at it a little bit. I'm pretty sure there was some cut material, but
probably.
Yeah, but still, this is not only just great comic book movie, it's one of the best movies I saw last year. So
I agree. If I had done a top list or top 10 list of the best movies I saw last year, this would easily be in my top 3 or top 5.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'd give it quite more because I saw more good movies, but yeah.
I know.
But yeah, so I think that about covers it. You got anything else?
If you haven't already seen Captain America Winter Soldier, go see it. It's awesome.
Yeah. So that wraps up our top whatever ranking videos 2014, guys. Hope you guys all liked it. Let me know what you think of our choices below. And in case you were wondering, Snowpiercer would have been one if I chose to include it, but I already talked about it enough, so I don't feel like talking about it more. So, yeah, that's about sums up. Hope you guys liked this particular experiment, and see you all next week, or whenever I upload this. I'll see you sometime in the future. Bye.